Hey, good evening, everyone. How you doing? I know we're supposed to come on tonight, but uh, I figured why not? People have been asking me about the Creeper Gallery the other night, and I figured I'd come on. I know it's late, later than usual. This is somewhere around here doing something. Hello, Patricia. Welcome back. Hello, Ann, Diane, Dana, Ann. How are you? Yeah. Yeah, well, happy Mother's Day tomorrow to all the moms out there. Hope you have a great day tomorrow. I don't know what she's doing in there. I see a flashlight. I have no idea what she's doing in there. Anyway, um, one of the few Saturdays we don't have anything to do or didn't have anything to do, so we got out and about. Um, but yeah, I know a lot of people were kind of asking about the Creeper Gallery and what happened and all that stuff. I did post that um, weird thing happened. I was fine when we left there. Um, really, no issues. We came right home. Um, I did feel like I had sunburn on my neck. You get that feeling like it's almost like gravel, like road rash. I did feel like I had like sunburn across my whole neck, not just the one side. It felt like sunburn. And I took a shower when I got home, and I was surprised that it didn't burn or anything. You know, I thought it would, but I was fine. Okay. I went to bed. Um, I had a dream, probably. God, I think it was around 5 o'clock in the morning. Can you sit down?
Yeah. Happy Saturday, guys.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah.
I had a dream. A little bit closer. I had a dream about 5 o'clock in the morning ish, and the dream was that I had um, the two audiences set up and two recorders set up, and we were in a room, but it wasn't our room. It wasn't our bedroom. It was another room. It wasn't didn't look like a hotel room either. It looked more like a bed and breakfast type of room. And um, some reason I had the recorders on the nightstand with the Oculus running. the entire night while we slept, almost if we were staying at like a haunted place or something. I just had equipment running, and every now and then in the dream, Chris would say something. I'd hear her say something in her sleep, and then I'd hear the words come out of the box. And I was thinking, like, I'd wake up and I'd go, "Oh, I know the recorder caught that." And then she did it like 3 or 4 times during the dream. And every time I would think to myself, "Oh, the recorder caught that. I know the recorder caught that." And then I woke up. So once I wake up, I'm up. I don't care what time it is. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I have a process of going back to sleep. I can't just close my eyes. I need background noise. I need distraction, or my mind races. So I came out into the living room, and Chris was still sleeping, and I had the TV on for a while. I always put Seinfeld on, kind of leave the audio on. I usually fall asleep, but I couldn't sleep, so I'm watching TV for like an hour, and then I'm sitting here, and again the windows were closed. It was nighttime. It was actually a little chilly at night, and I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden I feel just like breeze blowing on me, and like a little chilly, even more chilly. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look over, and the fan that's across from me right now is on. And I looked at it thinking, am I dreaming again? And I'm like, no, that wasn't on when I came out here. There's no way that was on when I came out here. So here I am again with the TV on, just the light of the TV, and I'm in the dark, and I'm looking over at it, and I'm looking over at it, and I purposely, went over and turned the light on and saw there's a, power button, low, medium, high, and then 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. And that's just to set it for a time period of how long you want it to run, not to, it's not like a coffee maker where it turns on its own. And I turned it off, and I was like, holy crap, like, holy crap.
What was that?
So that kind of weirded me out. Hey, Francis, Karen, how are you? Dan, John McGinnis, what's up? So that was weird. But again, the investigation the night before, um, yeah, Donna, even after she knows what happened and reached out to me the next day, she was still like, that was a good start. I'm like, a good
A good
start.
start.
I'm like,
You got attacked.
yeah, I literally like was coughing my brains out, and then got scratched, and the thing was saying a lot. And again, we spent 2 hours with that object, and that's a good start.
And it definitely said some things that were a little bit.
Yeah. So she's just like, there's more to it. There's a lot more to it. So I'm sure somewhere down the road in the future,
There's more. What? Okay.
We'll give it a go.
I understand that there could be more that's going to be said, because anything you can keep, you can always get more from anything that you do when you're investigating. More stuff can slowly come out. But the fact that this thing could scratch you, and I'm not talking about little marks, I'm talking about your whole neck. And John kept saying, even all the way home, you're saying I have a scratch over here, but the opposite side of my neck is on
burning.
fire.
Yeah,
it's burning.
Yeah.
And he goes, I felt like I got burned there. And there was nothing there. It took all night long before those marks went away on his neck. We were home before those marks went away. And again,
the strange thing was, it felt like I said, a sunburn is the way I could describe it. But my other side of my neck
almost
burned.
Like getting a chemical burn, right?
Yeah, but the other side of my neck burned more than the scratch side.
Yeah, you were more concerned with the opposite side.
I thought for sure I had a rash or a reaction, because it felt like I got bit. That's what I first thought. I thought maybe a spider crawled on me in the red room and bit me, because that's when I did that. I felt like
I saw you do it.
I felt like I got bit, and that's when I was like, I bet you there's like what you were seeing. I thought was red, that bullet thing that you get when it swells with the 2 dots. I thought that's what you were seeing. And I'm like, yeah, something bit me.
I know you were really freaked out, but the thing that gets me the most, that the more that I looked at it and really saw, and how raised and raw it was like something reached right around and grabbed you right by your neck and went like this to you.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way it looked.
I felt like I said, it felt like a bite. That's the way it felt to me. I didn't feel like a scratch. I thought something
So
bit
even
me.
with that happening, and you wanted to push more, why wouldn't that be enough? Because the idea of us investigating these things is one, are they deemed safe? What's
Dangerous.
attached to them? Or are they okay to go to another place, or for people to know what they're getting into if they decide to buy these objects, or whether or not Don is going to sell them? That right there makes me think back and go, do you really need to continue and push this one even further after what you just got out of it?
Yeah.
It let you know. And then again, I'm going to be very honest with everybody out there. And it's just like I even had a conversation with somebody about this. It blows my mind how his relationship with Elena was romanticized and that people supported that old innocent man with his love should be allowed to keep her. Think about that. Think about stalkers. Think about none of this was Elena's choice. This was this guy's infatuation with her in the 19, from the 1930 something to the 1940 when it was discovered that he had this body to do whatever he chose to do, and he kept it. And he had a wife who was there, who supported him, and like
Yeah,
later on.
that's,
I don't understand
yeah, if someone were to
the
do that today,
romanticizing of this man with this body of a woman who lived, and no wonder why there's
if
something
someone were
attached
to
to
do that
that.
today, they'd be in jail for a while. I mean, that's
You'd hope.
desecrating.
But it was
someone's
romanticized.
remains.
I read that article, and my instant was I was angered. I was inflamed. I was just like so like I put myself in Elena's shoes. Really? Really? They thought that Carl was this innocent, sweet man that no.
No, he was a sick cookie.
And I think the people around her kind of served her up to him in a weird way. And I mean, for me, I wish there were interviews and stuff to go dive deeper into the psychological of how this whole thing became the phenomenon that it became and how people viewed it. I'm still outraged by it.
People are weird. People are morbid. I mean, again, like you said, one person's take on something can be totally different than anyone else's. And my take is like it's like Norman Osborn with his mom's body up there in the window, all that time, and only this guy was.
I'm like, I'm dying. I'm in this hospital. I come home to be with my family to die. And this man is part of all of that with his infatuation. I can't escape him.
And he would visit her.
And he was married at home.
He would visit her burial place every day.
The tomb, and then he broke into it and took it. I mean, it's like in life and in death. And she was so much younger than him too.
Yeah.
That was the crazy part. It just. As you can see, for whatever reason, this really impacted me in a way that I wouldn't expect. I have so much anger over this. Maybe that's part of it. Yeah. Maybe that's the little catch of this.
Maybe that's why I suffered for it.
Maybe.
But no, I don't think about that.
Oh.
I rewatched the
Laura.
show. I first saw
Laura. I don't even need to know that. That's like
a private area. Yeah, we're not going to repeat that.
Oh my Lord.
That's for you guys to read if you want to read that. I'm not gonna...
my.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop that. I mean, this is the point of why it just blows my mind that the sweet whatever that they talked about, and this guy was a sadistic nut job, and he wasn't presented that way, and and that's what blows me, and the fact that he actually helped her along.
Yeah, supposedly he gave her the elixir.
The idealism
and her suffering.
I mean, we don't know if that's what she asked for, but I have no clue on that.
Even if she did.
I wouldn't even surmise on this, but from what it sounds like, he had plans. His relationship death was not gonna keep him away from his love.
No, somebody said something up above.
I know.
I haven't been scratched in God, I don't even know the last time
It's been a
I got
while.
scratched by anything. I really don't remember it. It's been a.
Your arm.
It might have been at
Your arm.
Kelly's house.
Your arm, when
Maybe.
it appeared on your arm that
Yeah,
one
maybe
time
that
when
was
we were at the Creeper Gallery. Nope, that's
Oh
Creeper
yeah,
Gallery.
that it was actually
And
growing
it,
as
and it
I was
appeared.
filming it. Yeah,
That
yeah.
I remember because it freaked me out. This one was much more intense and much more. And again, and I know this, I say this, and it seems like I'm harping, but it's just that I want you guys to understand what's happening all at the same time. When I was standing back from that doll from behind and filming John when he was talking to you when that scratch happened, there was a crackle, and I say crackle because I don't know how to say how there's a change in the atmospheric air and you feel it and you know it's not good. You feel it. It makes your skin crawl. It makes the hair stand up. And then when he hollered, I'm surprised I didn't drop the phone when you went like what you did and you
Yeah.
reacted like you did.
I thought I got bit.
Because it's your reaction on top of I'm feeling something and you're reacting to something all at the same time. That's insane.
Yeah.
And you guys can watch. You can't feel what we're feeling there. You can't you that vibe that's happening. And that in that moment, it was like a pocket of energy just zapped right into that moment and create. And I'm wondering if you putting that energy, those energy discs there, created
I
that.
know I'm gonna be to blame somehow for this.
I'm wondering if that's what gave it the ability to do that to you.
I.
Well, you
Hey,
can't
Mary
just
Jo,
you can't.
Heather, hey Gina, how are you? I think Carl Boncasso was going to be jealous, Sean.
Maybe.
You're trying to.
I mean, there's lots of different things.
um.
Or the fact that we were talking, we were so upset for the way he was.
Well,
and
I
what
called
he
him a
did.
sicko. I
Yeah.
think a few times.
That might have
I referred
perturbed
to
him.
his actions as being depraved. I mean, I know I said that at least once or twice because it's just the reality of who he was and what he did.
Hey, Kathy.
But I've been
Hey,
in
Gina.
buildings and situations before where, um, again, I've almost been pushed downstairs. Other things have happened where I've been affected. At the very most, I'll leave the area for a while and then try to come back in just to see if I could continue. But no, I never think about leaving. Even when the Cape was probably the worst thing to ever affect me. The Cape surrounded me with cold and wouldn't leave me alone and stayed with me for several days
That Cape had a hold of you.
after. And that still, I wouldn't go back and reinvestigate that Cape, although I did consider it. So I shouldn't say I wouldn't because I probably would. But no, I never thought about. I didn't think about ending because to me that's now we're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they can physically harm you or say whatever they're going to say, now you're in it. So you might as well get everything out of it while you're in it. You know, I mean, again, I felt
We got a different opinion on that.
I did. I felt my airwaves kind of like
You
pinch.
sounded like it, like you
And
couldn't
I
breathe.
started coughing my brains out, and I was just. But then everybody was saying it's true. She had tuberculosis. Was I feeling something to do with that, or was I feeling what she felt after the elixir, type of thing, or was he
I
doing
think that was
to
a
me?
cough that you couldn't get air in your lungs.
Yeah, was he doing that to me to shut me up or whatever?
Maybe it was a
I
combo.
mean, yeah, I mean it was. But again, I'm in that mode when I'm in, and I'm not ready to stop until um, I feel
I know.
I've gotten everything out of it. That
Do
I
you
can.
have any limits? And I don't think he does. I really don't.
I don't know.
And I think that's why it's
I
important
haven't
that
found them.
I'm there when it comes to because you heard me. He wanted to continue after we came back, and I'm like, no, we're done. We're done. No, one more. Not, we're done. It's time to wrap this up. I mean, and he was still so affected by what happened to him. I honestly do believe.
You're right, Laura.
Yeah, he did, and it's just like I truly do believe that for me there is a consequences when you don't have a limit and you don't put the brakes on. That doesn't mean that you can't come at it later, but in the moment, sometimes when something physical, I'm not talking about you get a little cough or, but when you get physically hurt, that scrape down in the burning sensation that you were getting from the opposite side, And that didn't go away. You had it in the car drive home too. And you still had the marks all the way up until we got home. So the further we got away, the better it got. And to me, that right there validates what I'm saying. Sometimes you do have to step away from things that strong. Whatever that you did that tinged it in that moment, that it reacted to you like that, I do think that that intelligent, smart, safe, that's the key, safe thing to do is maybe take a step back and then come at it again, because now you know what you're dealing with. Now you know 100%, and you can have your guards up.
See,
a little
it's
more.
so funny, and this is the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, Talking about this now makes me feel like my neck is burning on this side.
It left a taint on you.
I feel it's starting to get hot again right here, and I don't know if that's just my subliminal.
John, once you're touched, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say
but
it
I feel like
over.
it's getting hot all over there. Again.
When you get touched by something from the other side in such an impactful way, and I mean a little bit, but of one that it leaves a mark. It leaves that it affects you. It's almost like a trauma. That once you start getting back in, I know you don't, but this is what I'm telling you.
I would drive there right now.
Of course you would,
give
because
it
there's something
give
wrong
it another
with you.
go.
That's because there's something wrong with you. And you don't believe, you believe that the scratch is the limit.
Something wrong with me?
There's something wrong with you.
Wow.
Absolutely.
John's
hot. Yeah,
you,
right,
Bob.
Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Hot in the head.
Thank you, Bob.
100%. And I do understand that majority of people will do what John's doing. They'll just run right back in and keep going. And I'm just like, no, put them dang brakes on. Take a step back. Almost like when you're going.
Bob's right.
I ain't even gonna touch that. No. It just, you do have to you do have to put things into perspective and take a step back and get control of the situation, and then go back in if that's what you want to do. Me personally, and everybody already knows this is just redundant. See, is that bottom line is that if it's bad and it can affect you, I'm done. I'm good.
I don't think that way.
If you get touched,
I mean, literally, here,
leaves a taint.
Donna was just like, "Fuck the rings." I know, Bob. I'm not going to go there either. I was going to talk about scratches, but this is a family show. But again, speaking of Bob and Gina, Penhurst PowerCon is this coming weekend.
Yes, this coming weekend.
Next weekend. We'll be there, New Jersey Paranormal. Well, Chris and I will be there. We'll have our table. So come on by and say hello if you're there. I don't know where we are, but you'll see the banner and you'll see the two of us. Hopefully we'll be with Pam and Steve, so you get to see all of us.
Well, hopefully we're all going to be together.
Yeah, and all the stuff that Penhurst PowerCon has to offer. So if you're going to be there next week, make sure you come look for us. We'll be there selling John's hot t-shirts. John's so hot he gets scratched t-shirts.
Oh my God.
Well, that may work. But who's this? Christopher, how are you? So no, but seriously, the thing is, we all are together. Cool. I go into all of it for the maximum experience.
You do.
All of it. It's like getting on a roller coaster and not expecting it to drop and go up and down. And
that's like saying jumping in a car that you know it's going to be in an accident. I'm not getting out of this car even though I know it's going to hit the wall.
No, I'm not. You're comparing what? Where did you get roller coaster to get in?
I'm just saying. You say you want to go into.
No, you get on a roller coaster knowing that there's going to be twists and turns and stomach up and down and. You want to experience it. That's why you got on the roller coaster.
Well, I make sure they're exits.
You're on the little kid one that just has the little
whatever. And you know what? I'm the one that's going to be around, and I'm going to be the safety person, monitor, whatever you want to call it. And again, I felt very, and you know me, when I'm very firm, and when I feel like when you wanted to push that envelope, I don't know if it's because it's encouraging you to continue and to push through, or if it's you just being reckless. Because I think sometimes
Christopher says, I posted on YouTube comments last Creeper Gallery. You can clearly hear a man's voice about an hour and 12 minutes.
Really? Wow.
There was a lot of stuff coming through the speaker box, spirit box.
I'm gonna check that
There was a
out.
lot of that coming through there, and I liked using that method in that building because, you know, it, in a perfect world, I could take that doll and bring it somewhere and do a real EVP session in a quiet room. I would love to do that, but I don't think Donna would let me do that. But in a perfect world, I would do that. So maybe at some point, yes, but without that option, you're left to doing whatever else you can. And like I said, the weird thing for me was I compare it to, again, Kenny and I are in the attic of this building, and I literally almost got pushed down the stairs.
Yeah, I remember
And
that. That was
at the
crazy.
time, yeah, my brain said, "Holy s." I could have fallen all the way down those stairs and gotten hurt
Easily.
because I went down one step and then I grabbed the railing before I went down all of them. But after the initial, whoa, what the hell was that? I literally looked at Kenny. Kenny looked at me and I was like, "Did you see that?" And he was like, "Dude." And we were laughing like, "Holy crap, that literally." So what did we do? We went right downstairs, told them,
Yeah.
Tanya and Chris, and then we all went right back up to the attic again. And I literally stood at the top of those steps and said, "Hey," I was holding on, of course. Said, "Hey, you just did that. Do that again. If you don't want me here, you're trying to hurt me. Do that again." And it didn't happen. But with an object like that, that's quote unquote deemed dangerous, well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep going with that until I see exactly, what it's capable of. And I would have. That, if I was there by myself, I literally would have been there for 3 hours or more. Easy, easy. She's the one who stops me and is like, "Okay, that's enough. That's enough." Right. But not something like, we actually went in there knowing that we were thinking about taking another object out, but we didn't because I said to her, we're going to devote the entire 2 hours to that doll. And I kept looking at that doll, and I kept waiting for the horror movie, the eyes to open. Those dolls that do that when you lay them down and their eyes open. Uh, I got pushed on the stairs. Yeah, I mean, Gina, when that happens, it's you can't describe what that feels like. And I tell that to a lot of people that do the quote unquote ghost hunting or go on investigations. There's no way to describe what it's like to see an apparition or a shadow figure, or to have someone that you can't see or hear physically hurt you or push you. That's when you say to yourself, "Oh crap, if it could do that, what else could it do?" You know what I mean? Or what else can they do? That's when it gets like real, like, and again, getting scratched. I don't know. It wasn't like, I honestly didn't see. So I heard her and commenting about it, and I was just like, "Okay, it's probably a mark. It's just a mark." Because I did feel like I got stung. It felt like a spider, and I didn't see the marks until she showed me. There was at least two of them, I think, or three. She should show me a picture of it somewhere. And I don't know. Is this it? Yeah, you can kind of see it there, maybe. Right? You see that? I'm looking on my screen in front of me to see if I can see it. Right? See that? Kind of see it. And yeah, that was much worse than I thought it was. And four, was it four? One, two, three. Looks like three. Yeah, maybe four. There's one that's on the top, which is weird because now I'm really looking at it. This one up here on the top um, goes in like, well, if you really look at it, the one up top is like a V. It's like a V shape, and then there's a straight line, and then the other one almost looks like an A. I just noticed that. Wow, that's weird. Or maybe that's an N, or a V. Here, look at this again. Maybe you can see that better. It almost looks like a V, a straight line and an A. I don't know how well that comes through there. Do you see that? Or like some kind of like some kind of maybe drawing or something. Oh, the V for Von Kassel. Laura, didn't think about that one. But yeah, the one goes like that. The other one's just straight, and then the other one is kind of like that. It's two lines side by side connected at the top. I didn't even notice that before. That's weird. That's really weird. But again, um, that's one of those things where again, Donna texts me the next day, not like how you doing, how you feeling. It's just like, that was a good investigation. It's a good start, but there's more. That's what she texted me. There's more. And like, I'm like, I couldn't breathe. I'm like coughing my brains out. And I got whatever, how many scratches that is on my neck. And I'm like, there's more? Like, what's the more? Like, you know what I mean? Am I going to be channeling the voice of Von, whatever his name is? Is that more? But she did right away after that investigation. Um, I think she put it out there somewhere on social media that it is deemed dangerous and probably not going to be sold. And again, that's the thing about Donna and what she does. And I'm, you know, I don't know how I feel. I think we talked about this before. And again, it's a controversy, whatever. I don't know how I feel about the Annabelle doll. If John Zaffis tells me Annabelle is real, then I'm going to believe him because he's John Zaffis. He's a friend. I trust him. And if he tells me, then I have to believe it, I guess. But um, I watched on Ghost Adventures as they had Annabelle and Zach touched her leg, and really nothing happened to Zach. And then I'm watching as they're transporting Annabelle to. Annabelle's going to be somewhere this weekend, and they're bringing the doll in that case that it's in with a cover over it, and I'm sitting there watching it because they had it on wheels and they're approaching a door, and there was no way the case was going to get through the doorway. They were going to have to tilt the thing back or something, but the video ends right there. And I'm thinking, okay, now this is one of the most dangerous possessed dolls in the world, hypothetically, or it's rumored to be. Would you be bringing that doll out into public ever? I mean, I mean, come on. That's the thing that always gets me with the whole. Maybe they do again. Maybe they do some super protective, holy water blessing, whatever protection. Maybe I don't know. But if that were me and I owned something like that, no, I would not bring that doll out in public because all it takes is one stew nod to go there and like knock the thing over and the case breaks or whatever. You never know. And then what? you know. So I don't know. I'm always on the fence about the whole Annabelle thing. I mean, again, John tells me it's real. Some people say that they travel, that's not the real Annabelle doll. The one I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I just every time I think about it, like again with this doll that Donna has, she immediately deemed it dangerous and said not for sale. Why? Because the previous owner had all these issues with it. There was that research attached to it. And then I turn around, start coughing, and get scratched by it, and all these things are coming out. That was enough for her to say, probably not for sale, deemed dangerous, because she doesn't want to be responsible for, you know. So it's just like, I don't know. But then again, it is people's energies mix differently with different things, including objects. So you never know. It could be Annabelle reacted to those people all those years ago a certain way for a certain reason. Maybe that's it. You know, I don't know. But that's what I do. I respect that about Donna because I know um, at least a few of those objects that are deemed dangerous are deemed that way for a reason. The cursed box should never, ever, ever be opened again. Never. And you know me. Um, I, I'm a believe it when I see it, experience it type of person. We opened that box and it was F around and find out. And we effed around and we found out. That box did some serious damage. See, here I'm talking about that damn doll and my throat's closing.
That's a problem. I'll say it for a minute. I had a reaction to those.
Oh, I gotta take a sip. But I know there's at least a few things in there that I wouldn't mess with again, just because I've seen what they can do. So, so anyway, we take today, and we didn't have anything to do today, no events, nothing going on, and a Roman numeral. No, I was pointing out to them. Chris is on the side; she's sitting next to me over there. I was pointing next to them. It looks like the letter V, and then a straight line, and then almost like the letter A, or two lines like that.
That's the way that
And
looks.
somebody pointed out that Von whatever that could actually, again, now that I'm looking at it, that could be a right side up V and a lower and an upside down V with a line in the middle of it. You know what I mean? It could possibly be that too if you take another look at it. I mean, the one V, the lines are real close together, but it could be one V line in the middle and then another upside down V. That's the lines are much more narrow on the other V though.
It was much more. That picture was taken after the fact. It was much more red and more. Like I said, the further we got away from everything, the more.
But yeah, that's definitely weird. So we go out today, and we just wanted to get out. A beautiful day in Jersey, and we decided to go to an outdoor flea market, which was
a joke,
not good. And then we wanted to go get some food, and John makes the mistake of letting Chris pick the place to eat, and she's and suffers for it. What the hell was the name of that place? I shouldn't even say it. It was a burger place.
Huddle something?
There's no way you're getting a good hamburger in a hamburger place that is part of a strip mall with a Wawa. It just ain't happening. Never happening. So we go to this place. She's like, oh, let's try this, whatever. So we go in there, and hamburger was, if you've ever had, God, what was Sonic? Like Sonic burgers? Like it wasn't even as good as McDonald's or Burger King. It was just not good. So we go there, and then we were in this certain area, and I always Google places that are in the area, like what's around, where can we go, and we went to two antique shops, and then we went to that waterfall, which is in Little Falls. What was it called again? Starts with a D.
Dundee Dam.
Dundee.
Dundee.
Dundee, like Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, Dundee Dam and Falls.
Dundee Dam and Falls. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
So we go there. Beautiful place. Now, let me tell you something. There are few places where I feel, and this is where we were just talking about, somebody mentioned, I think Kathy mentioned about grounding and cleansing yourself or all that good stuff. And there are a few places where I go and I sit and I just feel, it's the word Zen.
Mm-hmm.
Zen. What's Zen mean?
You're at peace.
I'm at peace. Zen.
Yeah.
She's over there. She won't come on camera.
I can't right now.
Her stomach is hurting her. So there are two places. Now two. There used to be one. The one place where I used to feel Zen every time I went there was if you go to Gettysburg and you go, I don't even know if you can do it anymore, but if you go on Devil's Den of all places, the giant boulders. And if you sit on top of those boulders overlooking kind of the battlefield area, Little Round Top, and it's a sunny day and a nice day. And if you just sit on that rock and close your eyes and feel the breeze, I feel zen there. Always. Every time I go there, I just feel so at peace in that place on those rocks there.
It's one of the very few times that I ever find that you relax and breathe.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I found my second zen place today when we went to Crocodile Dundee
Yeah.
Falls in wherever, Little Falls. You walk down, you park, you walk down this thing. I took a picture of it. And the falls are right there. There's one on your right, and there's one all the way across from you. And every now and then, when the wind blows, you feel the water kind of splash you a little bit. But sitting there, especially on a nice sunny day that wasn't like really hot, I didn't want to leave that space. I felt so good there and so at peace. Where literally, I kept trying to enjoy the zenness, if there is such a word.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody next to me is pointing out effing driftwood. Every time I'm trying to just feel the oneness, like the force of Star Wars, somebody next to me is going, boy, that driftwood, see it over there on the riverbank? It just, with all that other stuff, it looks like styrofoam. And I'm going, I'm just trying to, like, I'm telling you, I feel at peace here and this feels really good. And you're keep talking about the damn driftwood. So she totally ruining my peace. Totally. I have to go back there without her because the Zen was up here and then
What about the guy that was fishing, caught a fish, and was so proud he showed us?
Yeah, there was a guy. See, this is your take. I'm talking about my peace and my Zen, and she's talking about somebody catching catfish. See, you're hillbillies. You don't get it. But that's okay. That's all right. No matter. But anyway, I felt, again, really, that's a place that I will go again for sure. Because every time I got up and walked away in that area or went up top by the road again, I wanted to come back down and sit there again because it just felt so good there.
It did.
And I really am curious if I go there like next week, if that driftwood is still going to be.
No, it won't.
Anyway, so then from there, we go, we went to the antique shop after the waterfall. So we go to these one antique shop that we've been in. Well, we've actually been to both of them. And we go to one antique shop, we don't find anything there. So then we go to another one. And we're walking around, and this one here decides she likes old lamps. Not particularly my thing, but she likes old lamps. So we have like really like I Love Jeannie like type of lamps. I Dream of Jeannie.
No, they're not.
I dream of Jeannie type of lamps over on that side of the room, and she really likes those, and they're okay. So now she sees smaller kind of lamps that are hard to describe, but and she likes those, and I'm like, well, you're going to get those, so she gets the lamps. So then we're walking by this other thing. I'm glad you had the experience, John. Must have been. It was relaxing without the driftwood, Karen. Yes, I was totally at peace with the universe and not worrying about anything. But driftwood kept coming up. But anyway, so we're walking. We have the lamps. We're going to leave. We're going to pay for them. And we walk by this box. And it's an old whiskey crate from the early 1940s. And the crate caught my eye. And then as I went by it, I saw it had glass on the front of it. And I kind of peeked my head down. And there's a picture of an older man inside of it with all this stuff. And I'm looking at it. And I looked at Chris and I said, well, this is kind of weird. And she's like, yeah, it's what do you call it?
A memorial box.
Memorial box?
Yeah.
Isn't it like a memento box, something like
Yeah.
that? So the guy comes over who owns the thing, the store, and he's like, yeah, that's a guy who the family built this box for him, and they put things throughout his life that meant things to him. There's his kids' toys in there. There was like a little gardening shovel in there. There's a weird piece of stone. There's like Christmas balls in there and a purse,
Like a wedding purse and a wedding veil.
a
Like
wedding purse, and a wedding veil. And it's just weird. So right away, I'm like, that is pretty cool. And so this one over here goes, well, let's buy it. I said, no, I'm not buying that. First, he wanted, I think, too much for it. But second, because I don't want any, I just went through whatever at the Creeper Gallery. I don't need to bring anything home. And this one's adamant about not bringing anything home, which is another thing that, but she's like, I get such a feeling from this. And yet we brought it home.
I feel like that's a good thing.
Well, again, if stuff starts turning on and off and the cat reacts bad to it, that's on you.
Sure.
So I don't know if I'm going to be able to lift this thing, but I'll give it a try. I don't know how well you're going to see this with the. So you can see the size of the dang thing as I. This is going to be really difficult. I don't know if I can see anything.
I'm waiting. I'll see it. Oh, yeah. You can kind of see the man's tilt it a little more.
I don't know which way I'm going.
So you get an idea that there's a photo in there in the back, which is an old bubble photo. And things, there you go. You see his face real good right there.
I'm going to get into stuff that's on the bottom.
Here, let me shut this off. This will help. You can see it better.
I got it. I got it. That's fine. So, I'll take this.
Yeah.
So that's what she decides to buy. So I'm like, you know, we don't have a fish tank. That was the reflection from everything, the phone and all that. There's a piece of glass on the front of it. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the reflection of the piece of glass, which everything that protects everything inside of it. But anyway, so she buys this thing and we bring it home. So now we have it. And what do we do with it?
We're going to find out if this gentleman, there's something good about it. It's just such a good energy to it.
I don't feel good energy at all.
I do.
I don't.
I feel a lot of love with
So
it.
we asked if they knew the name of the person who it belonged to, and the guy said, well, that's the thing. I never opened it up and opened up the picture, the old picture, to see if there was a name written on the back. So of course, right before we went on, probably like an hour before, we take the glass out because there's a light in there too. Somebody put an old hoard in there with an old light, and we have to replace the light. So we open it up, we move some things around, which I didn't want to do, and we take the picture out, and there's no. The only writing is P-19, like somebody just scribbled it, but no name. So then I took a picture of the picture and did a Google search and couldn't find anything. So I don't know why we have it, where it's going to go, what we're going to do with it, but it's here.
There's old earrings that are gold earrings hanging down from inside. There's like a
I
little
don't think you hear you
parrot.
from over there.
Huh?
I don't think you
All
hear
right.
you.
I'm not. I'm
She
just,
said there's old earrings inside. There's a little, what was that little thing? A duck or a
Parrot.
chicken or
parrot.
a parrot hanging from the top. There's weird things hanging from the top. There's things glued to the bottom. I mean, there's a balloon, a broken
A broken
balloon.
balloon. his whatever he did gardening with,
Yeah, there's
a
that one of
stone
her.
piece from like a pink and blue,
I don't
um,
know.
baby dolls,
It's really weird.
sock
No,
garters.
there's no history, nothing.
No,
So it's one of those things where, again, if we're gonna find out anything, there's only one way to do that,
yeah,
and I don't have a good feeling about this.
I do.
I don't like. I mean, when we got the photo of the couple that was married, that was from an antique store. I got a vibe from that one. I didn't. I felt kind of sadness come off of it. That's why I was drawn to it. I kept going back to it because I felt sadness, but I only felt sadness because I think that picture meant a lot to them, and I think it was a moment in time that will always be remembered and captured their marriage and the rest of their lives happened after that. And I don't think that thing was supposed to wind up in an antique store just on a wall. So we did. I bought it. We investigated. I sold it to Donna for basically what I paid for it, and then she sold it to somebody else. Um, this thing is different because it has things that were obviously meant something to a lot of people in that family, and I don't know. It'd be like somebody again owning my mother's ashes. You know, nobody's really meant to do that, but someone in my family. You know,
And maybe that was the draw because we weren't together. We both were drawn to that box separately.
yeah, but again, I don't like messing with things that are important to people. Somebody put that together with care, precision. They picked out those little pieces, they glued them all in there, and now we got it.
Hmm.
And I don't think we're supposed to have it.
Who should?
His family, somebody else.
Obviously, that's a photo from way back in the day. All of that stuff in there is
Can
from way
Donna
back.
take it and you investigate it there? Chris bought it, so that's Chris's decision, and I know how she is with stuff, so I don't know. But again, there's only one way to find out stuff about it, and having no information whatsoever.
Oh, I would definitely um see what Donna feels privately, like what she gets from it. I would like to see what Donna's take on that. She has so much more experience. She might even be able to give us more history on something like that.
I don't know. I don't like messing with things that really meant stuff to people. You know, I just I feel like it's almost like walking on someone's grave or you know what I mean, stuff like that. It just feels weird to me. Did you take a picture and go? Yeah, I did. I did all that, Patricia, and I got nothing. Just like there's an old cemetery not far from where my son lives, and for a school project, he had to go and um, look at gravestone headstones from a certain period of time, from like I forget what the years were, but like say 1900 to 1930, and see of all the headstones, like what was the average life span of those people? Were they all the ones in the cemetery? Did they live to past 50, or did they all die younger than 40 or 30? So we had to go and write down names and write. So as we're doing that, there is obviously a child's grave. It looked like um, uh, not a cradle, but what a baby sleep in? Crib. It looked like a crib, only it was made of stone. And on a stone piece this way, a stone piece like that way on either side, and like what looked like the back parts of it. And then it was just a piece of dirt in the middle of it. And then one of the pieces had writing on it, and then the child died, fairly young. But on that grave were three very, very old toys, two on the top headstone and one at the base. I mean, these were old, old toys that had been there for a long time. And you know me, I walked by there and we're doing all of our research and I'm writing all this stuff down and I see those toys and I ain't gonna lie, there was part of my brain that said, boy, I wonder what happens if someone were to dare remove these toys and take. First of all, they look like, again, they were old. They look like antiques. And second, somebody put them there for a reason. Family member all those years ago, I don't know, but somebody cared about that person and put them those items there for a reason. So all that energy of that person passing young, somebody grieving them and putting those toys there. Again, the horror movie part of my brain was like, well, I wonder what happens if someone ever tried to. They were there. No one's ever taken them. They were old. So no one, thank God, ever disrespected that grave and stole those items or took them. But I wonder, man, if somebody did, I wonder if the wrath of
If bad juju
that
follows you.
energy, yeah, would just follow them. All I could think about was those items for days after that and wanting to go back there and just, you know, see those toys again, you know, because they were so old and all that time. It's an old cemetery. There's parts that are newer, there's parts that are very, very old. And all the people that have walked through there, not one of them thought to disturb that grave.
It's sacrilegious.
But they're a-hole
There's some
people.
people out
Look
there.
at like Gettysburg knocking over. Look at the graveyard down the road from us.
I
People
know.
tip over those
Goes all the way
old
back to the
headstones.
Quakers.
They do it at Broadway Cemetery too.
I know.
They knock them over. Uh, yeah, but that was definitely one of the. I believe things can happen for a reason, and some reason it was meant to be. Yours. So talking about that box, we were in an ancient cemetery in Ireland. Rabbits had dug in a nest, and then dogs went in after the rabbits and dug
Wow.
up bones, and they were laying all over the ground. Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that. I don't do well with bones or hair or anything like that. So, but yeah, that was our day. We hung out, having a great time, and we came home with a box that I'm curious now because again, there's that part of my brain now that it's here where all of a sudden we're done and we're living with this item that has other items in it. And now I'm curious to see if there's any change. And again, the cat is a little off as it is. I'm curious to see how that cat's going to react to that box tomorrow. If the cat freaks out, that box is right in the car. Get right out of here. But of course, at some point we're gonna have to try to talk to whoever that is and try to get a name, first name, last name, what those items are, what they mean,
Why?
what they're related to. Again, the oddest thing. I mean, the veil makes sense. The purse makes sense.
There's a little girl porcelain, but she's faced the wall like
Yeah.
what you do when you're naughty.
Yeah, yeah. She's not facing the front of the.
No, she's
glass.
facing the wall like she was naughty, being punished for being.
And then there's another little baby, porcelain
Yeah.
little baby on the bottom. But even the Christmas items, along with the parrot and stuff, hung on the top. It's just, it's so weird. You know?
And then there's a cross in there.
There's a cross, a crucifix as well. So yeah, whatever happens with that one, I'm sure we'll do it. We'll do it live. I mean, if we don't do it at the Creeper Gallery, we'll just take it somewhere else and do it like we did before with that other picture. But now I'm curious, and you know my curiosity where that gets me. I didn't feel anything malicious or sad or anything, but the cursed box, I really didn't feel anything either until we messed with it. That's what scares me, is that sometimes you don't know till you poke the bear, you know? And that's what I'm afraid of with that stuff. Somebody took care to do that. And
there's love there.
Yeah, well, and that person might not appreciate us having it and then, you know,
I kind of think a little bit different. We took it out of a cold setting and brought it into a warm environment.
Okay.
And I do. There seems to be this really, for me, when I saw it, this really overwhelming love that someone took this time to put this box together of their loved one.
Yeah, I see that, but I
Because the
also
frame that it's in is one of those old bubbled frames. It's beautiful. It's old school. It's done from the 40s.
okay, but again, hypothetically, she's over there. You can hear her, but hypothetically, if somebody made something, a
I
piece of
understand.
crap, well, hypothetically, a piece of
If
craft
I
thing,
made something
and,
as a
and put
memorial to my
put
daughter,
momentums from the family and all the
right?
whatever, the guy's life or the woman's life, all, and they put it on by the grave on the headstone. Would you ever consider taking that home with you?
No, not from a headstone.
So, again, that box probably was never meant to wind up
Of
in
course
an
it
antique
wasn't.
store.
It wasn't.
This is what I'm
I didn't
saying.
like seeing it there.
But this is what I'm saying.
And maybe sometimes things reach out and make you feel a certain way because it's
Okay.
it's asking you to do something.
Well, we'll find out. I guess that's a mystery that will be
Mm.
will be looked into. But I don't feel good about it being in the house. I don't. Just like you, I don't like anything being in here that has the potential to be, have any energy attached
And
to it. I really don't.
if it is, then we know people to turn it over to that would take care of it.
Now you got me thinking. I'll put my dang recorder right on top of that thing.
Do it.
Open up that glass and do an EVP session.
Do it.
But,
I'd like to find out who he is.
she knows me. I'm like a junkie. You can't put something like that in front of me and not
You're
have
welcome.
me. Now you got me doing this now
You're welcome.
at home. I shouldn't do it here.
You were just doing different exercises before you were trying, and you had
But
nothing
that was
to try
those
it
were
on.
different equipment. Me just trying it
Right.
out.
Well, now you got something to really test it on.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, if I get anything, I will play you the recordings and let you guys know what happens. Anyway, um, again, have a very happy Mother's Day to all the great moms out there. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy it with your family. To the moms that aren't around, anymore, like my mom, miss my mom. That's why I don't even think of Mother's Day anymore. I was surprised when somebody told me it was coming up again. My mom has been gone for 4 years now. So it just doesn't, it hurts more than than anything for it to be Mother's Day. But um, for all the moms that are no longer with us, I hope that same thing
And children.
that heaven is real. And mom, if you're up there, I hope you're with my sister and Frank and all your loved ones, and that you come around tomorrow and just let me know you're here. But I will be thinking of you as well. So happy Mother's Day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in a few days.
Sorry I'm off to the side, guys, but I'm not feeling well.
Night, guys.
Good night, everybody.